Hey, welcome to the channel today. After every round that I play, I'm out here at Oak Tree National today. I just finished playing. Whether it's 9 holes or 18, I always get a practice session in and work on the things that maybe went well and didn't go so well. Today, I want to take you through a normal practice session after a round. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Mo Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing. So one of the things I keep in my golf cart and even in my golf bag is I keep a notepad. Now, why do I keep a notepad? Well, after I play around, whether it's 9 holes or 18, or I have, a golf experience where I hit some shots, you always do things that are good, and you do things that maybe you weren't so happy with. So I ask myself a couple really important questions after I play. One is, what was I really, really good at that day? And I might make a note of that in my journal. The other thing I do is I put in here stuff that I want to try to improve. Maybe it was some bunker shots that I didn't hit well, or I hit a few drives offline. So I might write that in the journal. And then if I have the practice session and I come up with a solution, or I come up with maybe something that really felt good, and what I realize pretty soon is that most this journal is full of just, this felt good when I tweak my hands or my body a little bit this way, or I adjust my setup position. That goes in the journal. So now I have kind of a reference. One of the things that I see in my journal a lot is if I review some of my notes, is I'll see patterns. Like I line up right too many times, or I always have trouble in bunkers. So there's things that you can kind of see. The goal here is when you play golf, learn something, because you want to get that much better every time that you play. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a quick little practice session here to kind of review some of the things from the round out here at Oak Tree National. And here's the thing about it. I pick out a couple of things. This isn't a marathon session. I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours and have a practice session. This is a 30-minute deal. I'm going to spend 30 minutes. I'm probably going to hit some drivers because I always want to hit the driver better. And I'm going to hit some wedge shots and maybe some short irons. All right, so let's get to it. One of the things that you want to do about practicing, and before I get into hitting lots of shots here, I think you want to understand that there's very, very different types of practice. And this is where a lot of golfers get maybe confused or convoluted in making much progress. There's the type of practice I'm going to do today is I'm going to get a tiny bit technical. I'm going to make a few adjustments, but I'm really not going to be super technical. I'm going to be basically trying to feel a few things with my driver. I'm always going to kind of pay attention to ball position and alignment, and I'm going to try to get the feel back and feel a little better with my driver and then some wedges. Now that's one type of practice. This is more of a get a feel back, hit at targets, feel good orientation type practice. The other type of practice that you might see me do is a very technical type of practice. I might put a camera back there and I'll be looking at and analyzing my swing and getting super technical. I'm not going to do that today because I just walked off the course and this is about getting a better feeling back. Because think about it this way. I'm going to go play more golf here, whether it's this afternoon or tomorrow, and I want to go out there and have a better feeling. I don't want to get super technical and have swing thoughts and try to play golf with technical swing thoughts. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick something down. Now, many of you don't have our alignment trainer, so I have that alignment ball position trainer, and you're welcome to pick one of those up. But many of you don't have that. But if you don't have our alignment trainer, I want you to put something on the ground that gives you some reference to alignment. And I got to be honest with you, I don't always line up at a target. Why is that? Because this is my take on it. If I line up at targets here, it gets me kind of caught up in where my target is aligned. What I'm trying to do here is feel better about my swing pattern. Golf is really about ball striking patterns. I want to know that if I set up like this, I hit it on this pattern. So I don't necessarily care if you line up at targets, and a lot of times the targets aren't exactly at your club yardages anyway. So what I do care about is that you are always developing your motion and your swing around a particular pattern. So occasionally when I hit a shot, I'll come back and make sure the ball is heading down my intended target pattern line, okay? So let's go ahead and I'll start with some wedges. And one of the things that I put in my journal there was I have a very difficult time with the 100-yard shot. Now, why is that? Because I don't have a club that really goes 100 yards. My gap wedge, my lob wedge goes 83 when I hit it full. My gap wedge goes 110 when I hit it full. So the 100-yard shot is really a gap wedge, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit some easy little wedge shots here and just get a feeling of a nice, easy. I'm going to choke down a little bit. As you know, I like to do that a lot, and hit some nice 100-yard wedge shots and just kind of get the feel of a 100-yard shot. That's kind of where I'm going to start. Notice that if I came back here, I might take a look. That's right down the line of this stick here, my pattern. Choking down again. And some of you mentioned in the comments about, choking down on a golf club. This is a great way to reduce how far you hit a golf shot. And so instead of swinging easier, I'm not a good swing easy guy. And I'll talk about that a little bit here. I am a choke down on the club, be aggressive guy. You're always better off being aggressive with your swing because, it's very hard to control the slowing down of the body when you're trying to swing the club with a little bit of speed, right? So a lot of people have trouble trying to swing easy. I'm not the guy that says swing easy. If I want a golf ball to not go as far or not as far with this wedge, I'm going to choke down on it, which takes some of the speed off the club because it's a shorter club, or I'm going to just reduce the swing length. So another way to do this is just take the lead arm back not quite as far, and that's another way. I like that way because it's super aggressive while I do that. Just giving you some ideas on how you can take one club and hit easier shots and shorter shots and manipulate how far it goes. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here is just hit a few wedges, get a feel for, it's a good one, that's probably right at 100 there. All right, let me back up here a little bit so I got some decent grass here. Now, one thing I'm going to do right away here, I'm going to hit a few 7-irons. Some of you asked the question about trajectory too. Let's think about trajectory for just a minute. High shots versus low shots. When we play out here at Oak Tree National, it's windy, right? I mean, it gets pretty windy. And the problem with wind is I'm not a big guy of let's punch the ball low. So, because when you punch the ball low, it hits and runs, right? So you don't get it's hard to know how far the ball is actually going to go. So one thing you can do is this is going to sound weird, but you want to slow the club down, hit a good trajectory to reduce the amount of spin on the ball. And again, I do that with, here's a 7-iron, choking down just a little bit, and then kind of reducing the length of the club. And that little motion there, that's a 7-iron. I hit a 7-iron 166 yards. That 7-iron there is going to go 153 yards because I've basically shortened the club, and it comes off lower because it's a 7-iron, not an 8-iron. So that's another way to do this. That's why I might choke down is just hit easy. It's a good one there, right on line. But they're aggressive swings. I'm not swinging easier. I'm not punching the ball. I'm not a big puncher of the golf ball. It doesn't really make sense to me. I like to hit the ball solid. I like to flight the ball. I like to control the golf ball with the swing. Another good one there. 150 to 155 yard 7-irons into the wind, keeping the trajectory nice, but not ballooning up in the air. All right, let's bust a few drivers here. Now this is the club. Look, let's face it. When I have practice sessions, when I do practice sessions, half of my time is spent with this club. Why is that? Well, when you use a driver on the golf course, think of what it's doing for you. It's positioning you. And you saw me on number 9 here. You saw me hit it in the right trees and get into scramble mode. That's because I was in a bad position. And when you drive yourself in bad positions, it's hard to score well. it doesn't give you opportunities to make birdies. So to me, you got to spend your time getting great with this golf club. You'll see me always practicing with my driver, getting a great ball position, trying to feel this address position feels good, and then really working to make good golf swings. And so, like, one of the things I felt on the course out there, on a couple, here's my tendency, and this is because my journal, I'll take notes, and so when I take a note in the journal, I'll say, okay, miss driver to the right. So hit driver to the right. Let's say I did it on 9, and I think I had one other drive that I didn't hit good out there. So miss drive to the right. Well, what causes me to miss the drive to the right? Well, I know what it is. What happens to me is when I get into the wind a little bit, I'll get like this. I'll take it to the top, and I feel my body make a forward lean. That's me kind of fighting the wind. I know this because I have it in my journal. I've taken notes on it. That little fight of my body going forward keeps the face open, and I block it to the right. So let's just hit a couple shots here. And just going to kind of work through that feeling a little bit. Making sure I stay in position, stay nice and in position behind it. It's perfect there. And that feels a little more here when I hit it versus that little lean, which makes me scramble golf. Scramble golf is fun though sometimes, but it's hard to score when you're playing from the trees. All right, here's another one. One of the things I'm triggering on a little bit here, feeling-wise, is staying a little more in my heel, because when I get in front, you see how I can kind of creep up? So I'm going to stay a little bit on the inside. That's a technical thought. I wouldn't necessarily love it on the golf course, but it's okay here on the range. So I love that one there. Perfect there. But I'll spend, if I spend 30 minutes out here after a round, maybe sometimes 25, 30 minutes, I'll probably end up hitting 80% of the shots with my driver, because it's really what determines whether you play good or bad. And then obviously you might go to the green and hit some putts, because that's the other thing. You saw me play on the front 9 here. I just didn't make a lot of putts. So going to the green and working out some putting stuff. So that'd be the next place I spend time. Wedges, driver, putts, and that's your scoring part of your game, really. All right, stay a little more in there and see what happens. Just hit that one a fraction, five yards to the right. Let's hit one more. And one of the things, and we'll close it off here, because this is an important conversation for me. When do I hit my best shots? And this is in my journal as well. I hit my best golf shots when I feel good at address and I feel good in my first initial takeaway. If those two things are good, I hit it really, really good. So that's kind of my trigger here, is to feel really good at address, feel good in my first move, and that's perfect right there. And to me, the lesson there for you, and I want you to go practice this, because this is important. Look, when I set up great and this feels good, and I feel good in my first initial takeaway, man, I feel solid, I feel aggressive, I feel like I can play. That gives me lots of confidence. So that's what I come to the range to do, is reinforce that confidence, hitting those positions, because repetition is the mother of all skill. And if I can keep repeating that, I can take that to the golf course and play great. So that's my practice session here. Thanks for joining me. By the way, if you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon to get notified when I put out new videos, and give me a thumbs up. Thanks for joining me today.